A very warm welcome to you. This is Atlantic Blue Arts on Atlantic Television Network. You know what we do on the show, bring you in-depth analysis of all happening across the globe. We don't just discuss them, we provide solution to some of these issues. Now, one of the major issues trending in Nigeria right now is that the ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Nigeria, Kim Yang-chae, says the report on security in Rivers State and some other part of the country is over-exaggerated by the media. The Korean ambassador stated this during a courtesy call to Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, at the Government House. Port Harcourt over the weekend, Kim explained that contrary to the negative media reports, he felt safe visiting Rivers, Bayelsa, Adamawa, Ogun, and other states in the country. Let's hear him out.
I visited Bayelsa State, and some other days I visited Adamawa State and Ogun State, and it seems to me the security situation is in a way exaggerated. So most of the places I feel safe, but the media coverage a little bit exaggerating, making matters worse.
Kim also said that Korea is seeking more economic cooperation with Rivers State and the rest of the country in the areas of construction, oil, gas, agriculture, fishery, amongst others. Yes, hear him talk to us about this.
So political stability is key for Korean companies to decide investment in Nigeria. So we want to see continuous political stability in Nigeria. And that's what I have seen here. Government has enabled the leadership during the last several years. We have seen enormous progress in Rivers State.
Move response, the host Governor Wike disclosed that prior to the takeoff of the $10 billion Inc. Train 7 project, the managing director of Daewoo and Saipan had expressed satisfaction with the level of security in the states. Yes, here the governor talked to us.
When people say Rivers State is the most unsafe state, you then ask them, where did you get your statistics from? You and I know. If there is insecurity today, Train 7 cannot take place, because that's one of the biggest investment in this country today. $10 billion investment. Nobody can make that kind of investment in a state where there's so much insecurity in the country. If the national economy is booming, then there's a tendency that the component units economy will also boom. So people who do not have idea about the economy will come up to say that there's so much unemployment in the state.
Another trending thing happening in Nigeria, the treasury base of the nation, was a massive protest yesterday in Eleme local government area of Rivers State over the poor state of the Eleme axis of the East-West Road. The Ogoni Youth Federation, in collaboration with other youth groups, have threatened to ensure total lockdown of the road until the federal government intervenes, given the huge economic importance of the road. Speaking to our correspondent Femi yesterday, the president of Ogoni Youth Federation, Legacy Yamabana, said the road will remain barricaded until the construction workers are mobilized to sites. Let's hear Legacy now.
Like I said, what we are doing is within the ambits of the law, and we will continue to be peaceful. The government must immediately swing into action, or else all the taxes they generate here will not come. We will ensure we remain here as long as they refuse to move, because we've suffered a loss. Okay. We have lost our heroes in the past. We have lost a lot. We fought for this nation. And this is just a warning to all the companies operating within our houses. We will come after them very soon if they don't implement their corporate social responsibility. And we are total for this cost. This cost is unrevocable.
The trial of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, resumed at the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday, which was yesterday, without Kanu's presence in court. When the matter was called off, Kanu's lawyer, Fine Ejiofor, informed the court that there was a pending application before the court to transfer his client from the custody of the DSS to the Correctional Center. Justice Binta Nyako stated that the trial cannot continue in the absence of Kanu and instructed the DSS to produce the IPOB leader in court for trial. The court has now been adjourned to October 21st, 2021 for continuation of the hearing. In a similar state, the Sahara reporter publisher Moyale Sowore was arrested at the Federal High Court in Abuja as the court resumed the trial of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, yesterday. It was gathered that the security agent picked up the Buhari Moscow activist and the court premises during a Facebook Live section. The activist later told journalists that he was brutalized by the police during his arrest and taken to the Federal Secretariat Police Station. Rights activist Deji Adeyanju has called on Justice Binta Nyako of the Abuja Federal High Court to rescue herself from the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Adeyanju said Justice Nyako is not neutral enough to handle Kanu's trial. The activist explained the trial's judge's husband is a Fulani man from Adamawa State, and Kanu was used to insulting the tribe. In other trending stories, reactions have continued to trade their section by President Muhammadu Buhari that middlemen are responsible for the rise in cost of food items. President Buhari, in his speech during the Salah celebration, had said floods and greedy middlemen, I beg your pardon, are the two of the biggest challenges affecting the administration of food revolution. Reacting on Port Harcourt-based entrepreneur Patience Ekuru says farmers are the primary determinant of farm produce. Ekuru, who spoke to us, stressed lack of interest in farming amongst youth as well as insecurity as factors affecting the quantity of farm produce. Let's hear a track of.
It's not really from the middleman, okay? It is rather from the farmers, that is the primary people, okay? Farmers are no longer producing the way they used to produce before because of all these attacks on farms. And I think that is what is resulting to all this. A lot of youths are not into agriculture. A lot of people left the rural area to the urban area. It's just that we are beginning to feel the impact now. It started from a very long time. People left the villages and everybody wanted to come to the city. So we need more people to go back into agricultural production. There is no two way about this thing. I think everybody must be a farmer at this point.
She also said the rising cost of food items has made many manufacturers to quit business, as many cannot longer keep with the low profit margin. Again, a farmer in Rivers State, Livingstone Membere, decried the lack of government incentive and grants. What does Membere has to say about this?
The other thing is how well are our local farmers, farmers in the community, having access to some of these incentives put in place by the federal government, and I don't even know of any incentive by the state government. But the federal government has a lot of initiatives, the AGNES scheme, Bank of Industry loans, and all of that. How well are these schemes accessible to the local farmer? So you can see that they still do farming at that subsistence rate because they've not been able to receive some of these supports that will make.
What is a federal government attitude towards the east-west roads and, of course, the construction and the fixing of flyovers across the road? We'll talk about that when we go on to short break, so stay with us.
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. On ATN.
Welcome back. A massive protest was heard yesterday in Elimi local government areas of Rivers State over the poor state of the Elimi access of the East-West Road. The Ogoni Youth Federation, in collaboration with other youth groups, have threatened to ensure total lockdown of the road until the federal government intervenes, given the huge economic importance of the roads. Now, this was the situation yesterday when our correspondent Femi Ogunkulede stormed the site of the protest. You could see pictures rolling on the screen. You could see how congested, how tight, how people were actually stranded at that access. People were taken back home. People couldn't actually achieve their goals for yesterday. Now, we're talking about this in a moment. Joining me now, I have in the studio Chairman Rivers State Civil Society Organization, NF Judge. Good to have you join us on the show.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, we saw the great setback yesterday. I read from the INEC representative that they couldn't access about 9 local governments yesterday because the INEC physical accreditation started, registration started yesterday. And of course, all of those activities was actually placed on hold because of the massive protest we witnessed at Elimi yesterday. But again, this is coming amidst the several promises by the federal government. This is not the first promise, not the second promises, against the background that this particular road housed or is a route to giant companies. Let's have your take concerning this.
Let me start by saying that it is quite pathetic and a gross addition of insensitivity on the part of the federal government not to have fixed this section of the East-West Road. Just like you rightly mentioned, this section house multinational companies. In fact, the loss, both human and financial loss, as a result of this protest, or even without the protest. In fact, the road itself is even protesting. You spend over 3-4 hours to move from Eleme Junction to get to Intel or the ports, Indorama, and several other companies. Of course, this is not even to mention the fact that there are several villages and community people that live in this axis of the road. Of course, you just read out that INEC, because of the sensitivity of that road, where that road is located, they are unable to carry out this function. And this is just one organization that have the capacity to have media presence to tell us their story. A lot of persons' livelihoods, a lot of persons are affected. One begin to wonder, if this road is this powerful, if this road is this important, how come a government, a democratically elected government by the people, would be so insensitive to fix this portion of the road? This road actually started around 2006 by the Olusegun Obasanjo regime. You can imagine that a region that produces what's proverbially called the goose and lays the golden egg.
Can you just hold on your thought a bit? Yeah. We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back to stay with us.
All right.
Anchor on the facts, breaking news, and in-depth interviews on a wide range of topics.
Atlantic Television Network, home for in-depth reportage, facts, professionalism, all the news you need. Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Television Network.
Atlantic Television Network, anchoring facts.
All right, welcome back. We're still looking at the saga, the dracuna that played out yesterday at the Eleme community, where we saw that the road was actually barricaded by the Ogoni Youth Federation, coupled with the Eleme Youth, and of course all stakeholders that are actually tired of the condition, the dilapidated nature of the bridge. Now, I still have with me Enefa Judgery, is chairman at Civil Society Organization, of course, was still buttressing this particular issue. Now, Judgery, one of the things that actually caught my attention is that there are about 9 local governments area connected to that Eleme. We have the Gokana, we have the Thai, we have the Oyibo, Krika, Ogubolu, Boni, and all of that. These 9, this local government has chairman, they have councillors. Why wait for the bridge to get to this nature, this deplorable state before the outcry?
It's first unfortunate that there is even need for an outcry before government, especially at the federal level, because that's the federal road, before it will take government to do the needful. You get the point. First of all, it's even bad enough that in a democratic dispensation that you have to wait for there to be an outcry. But again, you know how it works. Even now that people are raising alarms, you still see surrogate groups, all manner of groups loyal to politicians coming to say that why are you protesting? Why don't you wait some more? Why don't you engage behind the scene and what have you? You get the point. So sometimes in our climate, even when there is need for protest, even when there is need for agitations, you just have to look for a way to use behind the scene channels, behind channel means, to discuss with stakeholders. It is when it has gotten to the neck, if you like, and that's when there's always a showdown. You get the point? So I can't blame the people for that. First of all, we shouldn't shift the goalpost to the people. It should be to the duty bearers. And in this particular instance, we are talking about the federal government and specifically the Ministry of Nigeria Delta Affairs, headed by His Excellency the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio. It is his duty to fix the road. He should especially fix those flashpoints. We had expected that the Mpolu section of the East West Road that has become more like a death trap, destroy an entire community, cut it off, a community that is at the center, near center of Obiakpo, is being cut off. And of course, you know that road, is more like the exit and entry to River State. The Mpolu section of this road is not fixed. Now we have another section, as in more like a death trap. Destroy businesses, destroy manpower, destroy time people who used to do reasonable activities. Shut down, like you mentioned, near 9 local government areas. And these are, let me say this again, these local government areas are money spinners for the federal government and, of course, all tiers of government. You have Andoni, you have Boni. Of course, we don't need to overemphasize the role Boni plays in Nigeria. We don't need to emphasize what the role Eleme plays in Nigeria. We don't need to emphasize what Oyibo houses our gas turbines. And several and such local governments.
Are you saying the chairman, the people who tend to represent the people at the grassroots are handicapped? Because if you actually want to fix your house, you have to take the step from your house. You don't go outside to start calling those outside, come help me fix my house. We should see some relevant strategic both steps taken by you that you want this house to be fixed, then before you could actually call for help from the other side. Why you think about that? Let's look at some of the world-class multinational oil company housed by this, or that has their channel through these particular routes. We have the Intel, we have the Port Harcourt refinery, two major refineries stationed that way. Then we also have the Honest Seaport. Of course, we also know that these giant companies, some other ones who can actually go on and several companies that we have the fertilizer, oil and gas at these zones over there. Now, we know there's what they call CSO. Before this actually route got to this particular nation, state, what was the level of CSO? Because if the youth are unemployed, if the youth are not integrated into this company, we'll get to see some women go wear their skirts and go half naked to block the entrance of this company. Now, the route to your village is terrible. We didn't see all of this happen.
Let me put this clear. As a civil society actor, and most importantly, the chair of River State Civil Society Organizations, I am not only brief for the government at the local level, neither am I only brief for community groups and youth groups. I should speak for civil society. However, civil society in itself is just an empty space that needs to be peopled by people. So even the youth groups are part of the civic space. So, but the point that I'm trying to make is this. Yeah, I agree with you that possibly the local governments, even the companies there, as part of their corporate social responsibility, ought to do some form of, even the state government, if you like, even have to do some kind of remedial measures, quick fix measures, and community people raising alarm and what have you. But if you have looked at the history of these cases, if you have looked at the trajectory of this particular road, a lot of these things have been done. There was even a particular time the River State government, I'm not holding brief for them. Of course, those who know me know I don't really like, have my issues with the River State government. But I know that there was a time the River State government even did some quick fix arrangements. You get the point? At some point, the River State government did some quick fix arrangements. Community people have been raising alarm. For those of us in the civil society, we have been asking key questions. People have been shouting, talking on using platforms like yours, television or radio stations, to make noise around all of this. And yet, the duty bearers, in this case, the federal government, as represented by the Ministry of Niger Delta, have refused to do the needful, especially in this key section of the road.
You seem to be exonerating most of these key players. And you've exonerated the local government chairman, the chairman, or you've exonerated the companies, and now you're pushing it to the Niger Delta. Okay, before I get to the Niger Delta, let's look at what actually sponsored. I think in 2018, sometime in August, where we saw Rivers State lawmaker with their placards. They went to that road. I don't know if you could remember.
Yes,
with their placards.
Lawmakers at the national and the state level. Yeah.
State level, particularly when they
both national.
Before they did that before they called the national to come in to rented their anger concerning that road. And I could remember that a stakeholders meeting were called and in that meeting, most of this company actually let go of some amount of money, and the money was actually given to the River State governor. And maybe you should go check that record. Close to 3-point-something billion. To create palliative, you mentioned a quick fix. I don't know if that's what you're trying to say. A quick fix concerning that road. What was done? What was the nature? If that palliative was actually, if that amount was judiciously used, I'm sure we'll not be having this. We'll not find ourselves in the state we have today.
Whoa. I think that I'm getting this aspect of the story from you just now, that the hooping sum of a 3-point-something billion, right? You said?
You should find it.
Yeah, I should. Of course, we are talking. We are using the media platform talking to the world.
Yes.
So we should be very careful with our figures.
Yes.
But if the sum of 3-point-something billion naira, was actually given to the River State government, then I really doubt if that resources was reflected on that road. It is a road I apply almost all the time. As a civil society person, I do a lot of work around.
But you mentioned at some point there was a quick fix.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So where did
I was thinking that it was an initiative of the River State government. Okay. That was my thought. You understand? And again, for us in the civil society, one key thing we don't do is that we don't do bulk passing. For us, we think that the duty bearer, as far as that road is concerned, is the federal government. The federal government should fix that road. So the idea of coming to say that local government, state government, you get a point. We don't, in the civil space, we don't do bulk passing. The man who is to do the job, if his job is the River State government job, the River State government should do it. However, there is equally nothing wrong. Of course, nobody can like your house more than you. The people using that road are mostly Rivers people. The people applying that road are mostly Rivers people. Doing business there are mostly Rivers people. Yes, it is true that our sister states pass through that route to their states. Agreed. But whether you like it or not, for every 10 persons that apply that road, I am very sure, I am not a statistician, but I'm from insight. I can tell you for free, in the face value of it, that we have at least 6 Rivers people to every 4 persons out of 10 that passes that road. So if that is correct, it is expected that the Rivers State government, is expected that the local government can do some quick fix. So it is to that extent I was saying that the Rivers State government did some quick fix. I didn't get that information that stakeholders donated huge amount of money to the tune of.
There was a stakeholders forum regarding that. Before it got to this stage.
Then if 3-point-something, a whooping 3-point-something billion was given to the Rivers State government, then the Rivers State government should be able, to do a lot of work, on that 3.something billion naira. No matter how you want to look at it, it's not small money. Unfortunately, in our climb here, those in public office use money anyhow. But the truth about the matter is that 3-point-something billion naira, no matter how you want to look at it, it's a huge amount of money. And we are saying that the Rivers State government should explain.
That brings me to the issue of accountability. Yeah. You mentioned there was a quick fix around the time during the road. I'm still holding on to that because if you are aware there was a quick fix, what did the civil society organization did in that regards to get accountability for what was done, the source of the money, and how it was managed?
Well, to be fair to you, we know that government, by the way government is formed, government is not expected to spend money outside its budget. You get the point? It is illegal for any government at any level to spend resources outside its statutory budgetary provisions. I equally know too that certain resources are available by way of course, there are different government committees or agencies set up for doing quick fix of roads. So I was thinking, you get the point, I was thinking that possibly that government agency or that government committee, I think the Rivers State government was headed by one Honorable Timothy Serin.
Yeah.
So my thinking, to be very fair with you, my thinking was that that committee, or agency, if you like, had done that quick fix on behalf of the Rivers State government. That's my thinking. But from what you are saying, if I understand you very well, there is need for us to investigate, and name or shame where necessary. If stakeholders came together and provided huge sum of money to the tune of 3-point-something billion naira, like I said, is no small money. If such a huge amount of money was deposited on that road
for as palliative to cushion the effect.
No matter what it is, it would have been, the job should have been very solid. You get the point? And possibly the rate of the plenary nature wouldn't have gone into this extent.
Let's talk
used judiciously.
Let's talk about the role of NDDC in all of this. We know that over time, NDDC has its own challenge in terms of who heads that particular agency. We saw what happened the other time when we had Joy Nude. And of course, the youth of Niger Delta, rather than looking at the leaking roof in their house, they were campaigning or they were protesting concerning who heads that particular house. We can't actually forget the recently commissioned Niger Delta management agency around the East-West Road somewhere in the old GRA. Rather than our youth to focus attention on the major problem, the major challenge, they channel so much energy on who leads them, who pilots the affair, low disregard or less attention on the amount that is being earmarked for developmental projects like road construction, like maybe school construction, like maybe flyovers construction. And now the youth are saying they need about 3 flyovers for 15 kilometers roads. How realizable is this? if accountability, if attention is not focused into the NDDC, what is being earmarked, the types of projects given to them, and where those projects are actually being stationed, and who is actually heading this project, whose contractor is given this project, who is following up all of this project. Don't you think the attention of these youth is somewhat divided as regards what the NDDC does and how they do it?
Yeah, truth be said, the young people of the Niger Delta have not done enough in terms of calling for accountability. And of course, like I always say, that this is a democracy. And once you remove accountability from a democracy, it has lost its taste. You know, it has become other forms of government. One of the beauty of democracy outside free speech, you know, one of the beauty of democracy is that government have to be accountable. Government have to be accountable to
Who makes them accountable?
The people. You get the point. So I agree with you totally that the young people in the Niger Delta, you know, have not set their priorities right, especially in terms of asking critical questions, demanding for the budget of the NDDC, begin to follow these projects, you know, as it goes, begin to ask questions which contractor is having road X in Akwa Ibom, road B in Oyibo, you get the point. So I think that those actions have not been taken by the youth of the Niger Delta. We cannot overemphasize the fact that there is this, if you like, docility on the part of young people. Of course, you even saw what happened when Professor Ponde, you know, fainted in the floor of the Senate. One would have expected that such a thing would have led to massive action, mass protest. You know, this is someone that was giving money to midwife the affairs of the Niger Delta, and yet he was unable to account for monies within the COVID-19 period, and all we got was that he fainted instead of him to explain. But again, this brings us back to the issue of the Minister of the Niger Delta.
Okay.
The NDDC is midwifed or presided over by the Ministry of the Niger Delta. Again, we are bringing back the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency, the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio. He is the person, in terms of supervision, that supervises the NDDC. Again, the same man again. So and that is a very big problem. If you remember, in the whole saga, he was equally invited. He was in the center of it, and of course, the whole issue surrounding that matter in terms of appointment and what have you, still had to look for a way to rob off him. Of course, the Nune issue and what have you. So we think too that the Honorable Minister for Nigerian Ministries should take the Nigerian people seriously. There is this opportunity to say that he should know that he is not there for himself, that he is there for the Nigerian people, and he should begin to wake up to his billing. Because moving forward, I will begin to ask critical questions. I will begin to call that the proper auditing of both the Ministry of the Niger Delta and, of course, the NDDC, proper auditing, not the shenanigans they are doing now. Get some person say they are auditing, and you are auditing, you are the one presiding, you are the one of everything. Lastly, on the issues you raise, there is nothing wrong with youths demanding for a substantive board of the NDDC. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Now, why should there be a substantive board? First is that it is legal. That is what the law dictates. In the whole of the Act, the NDDC Act, there is nowhere that contemplated a sole administrator. It's very important that we must toe the path of law. That is the position of the law. Then secondly is that the board helps to have a Niger Delta spread. Because almost every part of the Niger Delta will have a representative. Unlike the issues of the sole administrator, where the minister again, will begin to use one scheme or the other to now make someone he prefers as sole administrator. It is unknown to our law. So if they use demand for that, while I am saying, in addition to them demanding that there should be a substantive board, which I support, in addition to that, they should equally do what you have said, which is that they should begin to call for accountability, they should begin to trace and monitor the budgets of the NDDC, and begin to call people to account, and where necessary, name and shame those who are destroying the future of the ordinary people of the Niger Delta.
Quickly, just to put one question before we look at the demand, the current demand of the youth now. From what you've said, I am feeling the Niger Delta youth are not judiciously using what they have at their disposal. They have the NDDC, they have the MDAs, and of course they have these multinational companies at their disposal that give them liberty to earn CSOs. As these three key components were properly used by the youth.
I don't think that it is the duty of the youths to use these components.
These are strategies to achieve these,
no,
to avert what we witnessed yesterday.
But they don't have the access to the accounts of these ministries or agencies you have mentioned.
They don't have access, but they have their voice.
That is what that is what they have, and that is what they have used yesterday. There is no time that the youth of Niger Delta will implement the projects in the NDDC. The people, the politicians, the political leaders, and the political appointees who are appointed to these offices are supposed to do their job. And it is the duty of the youth, civil society, the media to call these persons out and not to bulk pass the blame to the youth. Where the youths have failed, we have to mention it. Where the community people have failed, we have to mention it, which is that the community people are supposed to start demanding for the budget of the NDDC, begin to look at the budget, get experts. And some of us are budget analysts. You get the experts, train community people, train youth groups, and let us begin to know, okay, Project X is in Akwa Ibom, in Ukanafo local government area. Why is it not done? Project Z is in Ikom in Cross River State. Why is it not done? Those are the things that the youths can do. And part of it, like I said, is what the Ogoni youths, led by Ogoni People's Assembly Upper, and of course other youth groups, that are involved in the process. So what they did yesterday is what the ordinary people, the community people can do, youths can do. But when it comes to function, it is the political leaders, the likes of Akpabio, Senator Akpabio, the likes of the members of board, and of course in this particular instance, the Solar Administrator and Co. Those are the people, those are the duty bearers, those are the people who should be calling out. Those are the people civil society should be calling out. Those are the people the media should be calling out. Those are the people that community people should be calling out. Whether the community people and the youth and other stakeholders like the media and civil society is calling these people out enough is a different argument. And we are saying that if we are not doing so, we should begin to do so. But it is not a function of the youth to use the NDDC. It is not a function of the youth to use the Niger Delta ministry. It is not a function of the youth. I'm a Rivers man. Can I use the Rivers State government house? Can I use the Rivers State resources of the Rivers State government? The only thing I can do as a civil society person and as a citizen of Rivers State is to call the Rivers State government out. Is to be able to ask.
You can call for the budget of the Rivers State government.
Exactly, that's the point.
You can call for the blueprint of what the Rivers State government wants to do.
We have been doing that. For us in the
So we just said it's not your duty to call for the to check what the Rivers State government.
No, I didn't say so. I said it's not my duty to perform, to do those functions.
But you can put them on their toes.
Sure. And that is what the Ogoni people and the community people are doing yesterday. To put Akpabio on his toes, to put the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs on his toes, and that's what they have done.
After the wars had happened, isn't that crying, maybe renting your anger after the worst case had happened?
Hello, what do you get them do? They should go and shoot
that
blow.
That could have been done before that state, before we saw that deplorable state of the.
What should have been done?
Okay, before we go on the break, I called the shot here. Before we go on the break quickly, before you respond to this, I want you to ponder on this a bit. The demand of the youths, 15-kilometer roads, they want 3 flyover at Akpajo, Alasa, and of course on air. You react to that when we return back from this short break. We'll be right back to stay with us.
Anchor on the facts, breaking news and in-depth interviews on a wide range of topics.
Atlantic Television Network, home for in-depth reportage, facts, professionalism, all the news you need. Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Television Network.
Atlantic Television Network, anchoring facts.
All right, welcome back. We have been looking at an infrastructural deficit, of course, lackluster attitude of stakeholders that includes federal government, state government, and local governments, stakeholders, talking about the civil society organization, talking about the youth, talking about multinational companies, and of course, their roles in fixing infrastructure, making life fixable for the citizen. Of course, my guest has been Nef Jadril, and of course, we've been extracting all of these factors, looking at the role of the NDDC, the role of the local government chairman, the role of the multinational oil company, of course, the role of the sitting governor, the role of the government in curtailing what we witnessed yesterday at the Eleme Access, where we saw thousands of youth gathered in their number to stop a protest, to rent their anger concerning the deplorable nature of the Eleme Apajo bridge. And of course, if you actually want to see the nature of what that thing is now, you can just go online. Of course, go to our Facebook and our Instagram page at Atlantic Television Network. You're going to see all of those visuals telling the story for itself. But before I let go of Nef Jadril, I want him to actually look at the demand of what your men are saying, you guys. At 15 kilometers road, they said they want 3 flyovers at Apajo, One, and Alasa. How realizable is this? And of course, will this actually solve this challenge?
For me, I think that I don't believe in just talking for the purpose of talking. I think that agitation should be clear, and there should be a product of good research and, of course, professionalism. What I mean by that is that I had expected that they should be saying they have contracted experts, and experts have said that what is good for that road is this flyovers. This issue of frenzy and crazy for flyovers are not even good for modern societies. If you travel to some of us who have been privileged to travel out of this country, you hardly see flyovers. You see flyovers when you are connecting sea routes, maybe islands, 2 cities that is being connected by...
Like what we have in Lagos.
Yeah, you hardly see...
third mainland.
You get the point. Even in London, for instance, you hardly see flyover. This frenzy for flyover.
So maybe they're just dancing to the key of what the governor of Rivers State is doing, planting the...
Well, I'm a civil society person. I have to talk from a point of facts. Facts are sacred. Opinions are everywhere. But I think that, like I said, professionals, they can, of course, there are several professionals in Rivers State and Ogoni, where these professionals can be engaged. Professionals can say, okay, look at the quality of road, look at the brand of road, look at the style of road, and can interface with government, contractors, and I think the best can be done. It must not necessarily be a flyover. Like I said, flyovers are just, it's just what politicians use in this part of the world to siphon.
Maybe they're looking at the trucks that ply that route.
That's what I'm saying. All of those things will be resolved by professionals, not just frenzy and just say because you want flyovers. Of course, we have even seen the flyovers done in River State, for example. It has not solved a lot of things. But I think my parting shot is
Final thought, please.
Yes, my parting shot is that the River State governor and the River State government is known to be very loud on issues of politics, on issues that affects government. We want to see the River State governor raise this issue concerning this road as part of his cardinal issues, usually the way he raises issues. We equally want to see that agents of the River State government do the same. We equally want to see the local government chairman organize the trailers on that road, even with the bad road, with or without the bad road. The trailers cause a lot of human traffic, cause a lot of unnecessary delays on that road. We think that the Eleme local government can't build a modern park, for God's sake.
Okay.
Build a modern park to make sure they accommodate these trailers. In any case, they even make money from these trailers. So what stops the local government from fixing it? And of course, for us in the civil society, we think we should tax government the more. The community people, the youth people should stop this idea of always going to beg companies and government for unnecessary handouts, but begin to make serious campaigns as regards good and quality governance.
Thank you so much, Chairman, Civil Society Organization, and Effort Judge, for coming on the show. All right, you can always capitalize on us to bring you updates of all of the happenings going on at the Eleme community right now. We had the protesters as get today too, so trust us to get you up to speed with all of the details. But on that note, this is where we want to say bye-bye for now. We'll be back tomorrow for another episode of the show. You can follow us on Facebook and, of course, YouTube at Atlantic Television Network. And, of course, Instagram is Atlantic TV Network. I'm Flora Duke. Bye for now.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. On ATN.